Wes Craven, who holds a master's degree in writing and philosophy, has scared audiences since the early 70s with films such as The Hills Have Eyes, A Nightmare on Elm Street and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. We're delighted to have him on the movie show for the first time ever.
I found it a very appealing script. It's really wonderfully written. It's very funny. It's scary when it means to be scary. It is extraordinarily well informed about the genre itself. So it's just chock full of references, both obvious and subtle. I mean, mothers and fathers' names are characters from Halloween 6 and everything else. I mean, there's just it's like you need a concordance. You could go back and see this film 5 times and miss some of the references.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the one where the guy had knives for fingers?
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy, that's right. I like that movie. It was scary.
Well, the first one was, but the rest sucked.
Most of the scripts that come across your desk are terrible, and they're derivative, and they're ugly, and they're just gore for gore's sake, and they're just rehashes of Friday the 13th or Halloween or Nightmare. You can just say, oh, here's the scene from that film, and it's just somebody has cobbled it all together, and so you get these sort of Frankensteinian monstrosities of scripts that are really terrible. And you read 10 or 15 pages and throw them on the floor. And then every once in a while you get a script like Kevin Williamson's script of Scream. I don't know why I have this image, but, if you went to a warehouse full of 10,000 dead dogs and one puppy that just runs up to you and licks you in the face, there's no problem, telling which one's the live dog.
The killer's still out there? Don't go there, son. You're starting to sound like some Wes Carpenter flick or something.
Kids have seen all of these films, and they are authorities on them. And they've watched them over and over again because of VCRs. They're able to just take them home for a weekend and watch them 6 times. So they know them. They know them by heart. So you have that informed audience. The point is, are you going to undersell them? Are you going to come in under their level of intelligence, which is typically what happens in this kind of film, or are you going to try to come in at their level or slightly above?
Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
This is a very confused, very cynical generation. And they're looking for essential truth, I think, things that cannot be denied. Horror films talk about the bare bones realities. We are corporeal beings. Rich, poor, whatever we are, if somebody sticks a little piece of metal in us, we can die right there. Our existence comes to an end. That's a profound truth. And that can happen to you. It happens a lot. You see it in the newspaper every night. So then how do you protect yourself against that violence without becoming part of it? What are the rules? What are the ways of defending yourself? So these are real questions that kids want to know the answers to, and adults would just as soon not talk about.
Looks like we've got a serial killer on our hands.
Well, serial killer's not really accurate. Gotta knock off a couple more to get that title.
Well, we can hope, can't we?
I think what really horror films deal with is vulnerability and inattention. I think what horror films do is they show you the penalty of not being at that point, not being aware or admitting to what's really out there.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
People say, aren't you afraid the way your films influence your audience and can create violence? I say, well, what happens? The films have been here for 100 years. What about all those millennia before when people were bashing each other's heads out? If you look at the story of Genesis, I mean, first or second chapter, you have Cain picking up a club and bashing out his brother's brains, and then acting like, what, me? I'm not my brother's keeper. I don't know where he is.
911.
What's going on?
The relationship between cinema violence in real life, censorship's rearing its ugly head at the moment. What's your response to that?
Well, I think if you've got an ugly situation, one thing you can do is break the mirrors. I don't think it's going to do a damn bit of good, but you might not have to look at it until it gets you.